So let's go to understand the fifth dimension in order to see why the fifth dimension is ruling our lives until we know how to do it by ourselves. From now, I must tell you that it won't be easy to live in the fifth dimension. I would just advise you to relax. Now, remember this. This is the fourth dimension. Here we have the third dimension, here the fourth. This here is the past, this is the present, the process, and this is the future. So remember that here the cube has its potentiality in the fourth dimension and expands itself outside, creating another one. So this is what is showing us the different timelines of something from the third dimension. For example, we are in the third dimension here, but as you can see, if you see all the videos since when we began, I have the hair longer, beard, I have eye bags, I'm dying slowly. So you can see the difference. And that means that you can see the fourth dimension because I'm changing. So we all are changing constantly. So that's the fourth dimension. The only thing that happens from the third dimension is that we are not being able to handle that, to manipulate the fourth dimension, but we can see it and experience. In the same time that this is happening in the third and the fourth dimension, another dimension is happening too. So this is a mirror, which means that from the third dimension expanding itself through the fourth dimension in the process of time, we have the fifth dimension, which is the mirror of all that. Third dimension equals space, fourth dimension equals time. What is the fifth dimension? It's a reflection of time and space. Let's go into a simple example of this. The simple example of this would be like go and watch yourself in a mirror. Put yourself in front of a mirror and you will see that this body is the third dimension. The fourth dimension is the process, the time that you take while watching yourself in the mirror. So the time is passing by and an inner process is happening through the vision and you see the reflection in the mirror, which is the fifth dimension. As an example, what is happening here? That as I look into the mirror, my reflection is looking me back. I'm watching myself in the mirror. My reflection is watching me. So with example of the reflection in the mirror, we can make a summary of all this. But let's complicate it a little bit more. Why am I using the cube? Because the cube is the easier way to explain all this, to draw this. Because if I have to explain it with people, I have to draw many different lines and things. It's easier to do it with a cube. But imagine now that this cube in the third dimension is me, my body. Here, me, I am living a life through the fourth dimension. I am living a process of life. As I am living a process of life, I have aside a reflection, which is a parallel life, where it's me reflecting myself and watching my own process. Now, it's important to understand that this is not like straight like that. This is not like I am here in the third dimension, so my reflection in the parallel will be also in the third dimension, and this one in the fourth dimension, the time. No, this is a summary of things. They go attaching concepts. So all this is not happening a reflection of the third, a reflection of the fourth. It's happening everything in the fifth dimension. This is not like this. And I am going to explain now what it means. To explain this, I am a being in the third dimension that lives a life through the fourth dimension in time. So both of them project in the fifth dimension. And what is the fifth dimension? Is the connection and the logics of these two together. So this means that the fifth dimension is the one that can answer why and what for. The third dimension will ask why. The fourth dimension will ask what for. So the fifth dimension, by this reflection, is the one that will be able to answer the question why and answer the question what for. It's because this is not aligned exactly with each one of the dimensions. It's the summary of everything that happened here. So what happened in the matter and then happens through time, this all together is reflected. And this means that in the fifth dimension, you have the whole package of everything that happened in the past, in the present, in the future of your whole existence. So the life you are living in the fifth dimension is the one that is aware of all your existence from the beginning till the end. This is why the fifth is the dimension of consciousness. So why is the consciousness? Because it can see everything from the unity. The unity of what? The unity between time and space. And this is why the beings that live here are called guides and masters. And why is this? Because a guide is the one that tells you where you go, and the masters are the ones that explain to you why you go. Now, for example, have you ever listened to the question, or have someone ever made you the question, if you were able to speak with a child you once were, what would you say to yourself? Have you heard this question? Have you done it in some therapy or something? If you heard this question, this is a question for the fourth dimension, because from you being an adult right now, you use the resources of the fourth dimension in order to speak with yourself in the past. So that would be a question, like, for example, what would you say? So maybe you being an adult, you tell to your kid, don't worry, everything is going to be okay, don't be afraid, whatever. Why would be different when we listen the voices of a guide or a master that is in the fifth dimension, giving us advices of what to do, where to go? What if the voices that we hear from the fifth dimension, from guides and masters, what if they are just trying to help themselves in another dimension by guiding us to go properly through the third and the fourth dimension, in the same way as we use the fourth dimension to speak with our past in order to heal it? The beings in the fifth dimension, there are beings that exist, that are real, that are there, masters with their names, with their story, everything. But they are beings that manage to transcend and unify the space and time as one. So that's why they can see everything. So we can talk to them, we can say whatever to them, and they will listen to us, because they are us in a different reality, in a different dimension. These are aspects and beings that are able to see everything from the unity, but really they are ourselves, watching ourselves. Remember that we are all one. What we are doing by being one is to experience and transcending different stages from ourselves. Like, for example, you are not the same when you were 7 years than when you are 30 years, when you are 60 years old. It's not the same. You change. We all change. We are not the same person. So this is exactly as it happens with the fifth dimension. When we transcend into another dimension, it's exactly the same as we, with 60 years old, transcended the 7 years old. This is why we can consider that they are different beings with different names, with different lives, and even though they are me. Be aware of this. We cannot understand this from a linear process. The line disappears here. It disappears in the third dimension. With the fourth dimension, the timeline is completely different. So we are now in the fifth dimension, completely different. There is no line. This is why it's difficult to understand. So now, why so many people are willing to live in the fifth dimension? So the reason why so many people wants to go to the fifth dimension is because the fifth dimension is the unity between time and space. Time and space. Why is unity, and why we want to live in the fourth dimension, in the fifth dimension? Because the physics of space and the quantics of time, they become together as one. And that means that we can live our dreams. We can manifest our dreams. This is why we picture the fifth dimension like this beautiful and amazing place, utopia, where everything is perfect. And why is that? Because in difference from the fourth dimension, there is clarity and consciousness. This means that in the fifth dimension, we don't have confusion. We don't have these conflicts. So there are some people that are asking, what is a quantum leap, you say in English, that all the people are talking about to go to the fifth dimension? Can you see this? A leap, jumping, is a concept. This little person doesn't have to jump. It has to project itself. A quantum leap means that one being projects itself into another dimension completely. We humans make this quantum leap by dying. When we are unaware, we die and we go into another dimension. But if we become fully aware, we can do this leap physically, which is like an alien, like the aliens does, going here, coming here. So many aliens that lives in three-dimensional worlds, they use the fourth dimension and even the fifth dimension in order to move from one world to another. So this means that they are not using space to move through, they are using time. When a being moves through space in the third dimension, they will need this projection in order to go here, to go to a spot, to a place. But a being that moves through time can make this jump here, because what it really is doing is to bend time and space. If one being is in the fifth dimension, what would they do? A being from the fifth dimension doesn't need to travel, neither from time, neither through space, because it's always in the same spot. But we are here, moving through time and space, in the middle, in between. So because we are here, in between time and space, we are determined, attached to only one vision, which is the vision of the distance, the space. And that's why we cannot see the whole options. For example, us from the Earth, when we see a star, we can see that the light is coming to us and it will take certain light years of distance. But from the fifth dimension, this star is everywhere. As we are watching straight to one object, straight there, and we see one reality in the third dimension, we can measure the third dimension, other beings from other realities can see a totally different way of moving. So that's why they can get through a mirror or appear from nothing, something like that. So this is why we can say a being appear like there in a place. Why they appear and disappear so easily? Because it's not that they are just, I don't know, magical. They just turn a corner of a dimension that we cannot perceive. So the reason of all this mental explanation, basically to try to understand a little bit the magic. All the dark things in the universe that holds the stars, the sun, the planets, everything, the dark side of the cosmos is held by the fifth dimension. So now take a deep breath, short. So let's imagine now that this is like a star or a planet. Now, for example, we have here the moon and the earth. We usually say that this is the concept of gravity, which means that whatever object that has much more weight attract the ones that has lower weight. The moon, for example, is attracted to the earth because the earth is bigger. Because of this, it is pulled to the earth. But the thing is that why they levitate, why they floatate, where are they exactly? Gravity comes from Latin and means quality of weight. Is a quality of weight. If gravity is weight, this can say that, okay, the moon is smaller, so that's why it falls down here. But why the moon is not falling down straight to the planet and it's going around? Again, here, I'm sorry for the people that believes the earth is flat. So now, what has been trying to be explained by theories is that this is much more related with the networks of time and space, like this kind of net. Imagine that this line here is called space. Imagine that these lines here are called time. So this theory says everything in the universe is held by two constants. The constants means that is eternal. The constants are time and space. So we come back to our lines of time and space. Imagine now that these planes starts to curve themselves, contracting each other, so creating matter. The first particles are created by the conjunction of time and space, of the constant of time and space. As much more particles of matter, much more weight. As much the weight of the matter starts to curve the lines of time and space. So the moon is not falling or floating around the earth, is falling in a spiral way towards the earth, falling or going away, depending. So as you see, the object like this is the one that has weight, is the matter. Matter is not space. Space is the place through where the matter is moving. It's not the matter, it's another thing. The matter is the result of the combination of time and space, is the result of it. So remember, in the fifth dimension, there is not up or down, it's a whole and everything. What from our point of view is a weight that goes down, from the fifth dimension, it also goes up and goes to one side to another side, behind, and in front. So from the fifth dimension, this object is expanding and contracting towards every direction as a constant reflection. So basically, is the fifth dimension the one that is allowing everything to levitate in the space? Right now, we have spoken about the sightseeing of how is the fifth dimension. So when we get much more emotional, maybe we will speak about who are the beings that live there. And if you have any question, you can do them to yourself of the fifth dimension.